Hey everyone, it's Michael Collins and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to dive into how to break out of negative self-talk, a topic that so many of us struggle with. I know I do. You know that little voice in your head that's always quick to criticize or point out what's wrong? It can seriously hold you back from reaching your potential. In this video, I'm going to talk about why we can break out of negative self-talk, including how we fall into it in the first place, how it affects us, and most importantly, how to break out of negative self-talk on a regular basis. So let's get started. So first off, what is negative self-talk? Negative self-talk is the internal dialogue that we have with ourselves. It's often rooted in self-doubt, fear, insecurity, and these are the thoughts that make you question your abilities, your worth, your decisions. Things like, I'm not good enough. Oh man, I'm never going to succeed. Why do I always mess this stuff up? So you see, like these thoughts might feel small in the moment, but over time they can build up and can seriously impact your self-esteem, as well as your mental health. So why do we fall into this negative self-talk, right? I mean, you think like, just be positive. Well, but before we talk about how you break out of negative self-talk, I think it's important to understand why we do it. And often negative self-talk comes from fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of not being enough. It's our brain's way of trying to protect us, but instead of helping us, it holds us back. And for some people, negative self-talk might come from past experiences. Things like criticism from others or previous failures that kind of left this mark, right? And over time, those external voices turn into our inner voice. We start believing the worst about ourselves. Now, the good news is you can change that voice. Just like you develop the habit of negative self-talk, you can develop a habit of positive, empowering self-talk. So, how are you going to break out of that? So, and why is that really important to do? So, it's crucial to break out of this cycle of negative self-talk because it isn't just about your inner dialogue. This influences your actions, your mood, and your overall well-being. When you're constantly telling yourself that you're not good enough or that you can't succeed, you really start believing it, and it shows up all sorts of places in your life. You might not take risks because you're afraid of failing. You might struggle with confidence in relationships or in your relationships at work. You might hold yourself back from opportunities because you convinced yourself inside that you're not ready. So changing this pattern can help you build confidence, can improve your mental health, and it can unlock your full potential. So let's talk about how to do that, right? So tip one, become aware of your negative self-talk. So know that you're doing it. The first step to breaking out of this negative self-talk is to recognize when it's happening. So now you can't change what you're not aware of. So pay attention to your inner dialogue throughout the day. When you catch yourself thinking, I can't do this, or I'm such a failure, take note of it. A lot of times we don't even know how often we're putting ourselves down, like ourselves, right, in our heads. So as a tip, keep a journal of your negative thoughts for just a few days. Write down every critical or self-limiting thought that you have. And this will help you see patterns and understand just how often these thoughts are popping up for you. So second tip, challenge and reframe your thoughts, right? So once you're aware of your negative self-talk, the next step is to challenge it. So ask yourself, is this real thought really true? Is there actual evidence for this? Or am I just jumping to conclusions? I think most of the time, it's just jumping to conclusions. So for example, if you catch yourself thinking, I always mess things up, challenge it by asking, do I really always mess things up? Or am I just focusing on a few mistakes? Chances are it's not as bad as you're making it out to be. So after challenging that thought, reframe it into something more balanced or positive. So instead of, I'm terrible at this, say, I'm learning and that's okay. Reframing your thoughts doesn't mean you're ignoring challenges, but it helps you approach them with a healthier perspective. Tip three, right? Practice self-compassion. So one of the best ways to break the cycle of negative self-talk is to practice self-compassion. You got to forgive yourself. A lot of times we speak to ourselves in ways we never ever speak to others. Imagine if a friend came to you feeling down. Would you tell them, yeah, you're right, you're not good enough. You suck, right? You never succeed. Of course you wouldn't do that, right? You'd encourage them, right? You try to make them feel better and see from a different position. So treat yourself with the same level of kindness. If you make a mistake, remind yourself that it's okay to be imperfect. No one gets everything right all the time. So when you catch yourself in negative self-talk, ask, what would I say to a friend in this situation? I love this one. I do this all the time. Then say that to yourself. Practicing self-compassion helps create a more supportive inner voice. Also, surround yourself with positivity. Your environment plays a massive role in shaping your mindset. If you're constantly around negativity, whether it's negative people complaining all the time, toxic relationships, or even the news, right, that can bring you down, it's going to be hard to maintain that positive inner voice. Start surrounding yourself with positive influences. I mean, this could mean a few things: spending more time with uplifting friends, reading empowering books, listening to motivational podcasts, or even following some inspiring social media accounts like this one. So be mindful of the content that you consume. Just like you wouldn't want to fill your body with junk food, don't fill your mind with negativity. Surround yourself with positivity, and it will support your journey to break out of negative self-talk. Affirmations and positive reinforcement are a fifth tip. Finally, one of the best ways to counter negative self-talk is by actively practicing positive affirmations. Affirmations are short, positive statements that help rewire your brain for optimism and self-belief. The more you repeat these positive statements, the more your mind, believe it or not, is going to begin to accept them as true. Some examples of affirmations are: I'm capable of handling any challenge. I deserve success and happiness. I am enough. I can do this. I'm really talented. It might feel a little strange at first, but over time, these affirmations really do start to sink in and become part of your permanent mindset. So, what could you do? Write down a few affirmations that resonate with you and repeat them every morning. Say them out loud. I mean, you're on your own, right? Say them to the mirror. Write them in your journal, or even set reminders on your phone throughout the day. Breaking free from negative self-talk takes time and effort, but these strategies, if you just put them into practice, you'll be able to change your inner dialogue and start building a more confident, positive mindset. So, if you found this video helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more content, and please share it with others. Information on how to reach me via my website or an Instagram or a text message is below, and I can share other programs I have to help you with improving your mindset. Hey, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.